Hello. Okay, so it seems we're in lockdown mode. Everything's back to front. So I thought I'd do something instead of doing drawing like in pencils and then tie it up with inks. I thought I would just go full on inks and then tie it up with pencils afterwards. So here's how it's going to go down. I'm going to draw a picture of the Batman, and then hopefully, if I get this right, I can make him look extra special with some pencils afterwards. Okay, completely back to front. I know that you get what I've done there. So let's delve into the purse of artistic knowledge. Bear with me. Cool. So normally I go like, get off some pencils and do some sketching and shit. Well, that ain't gonna happen. So I'm just gonna go like full on blacks. And then, oh look, he's already started. You can actually hear it. I'm doing that on purpose. Can you hear that? Ooh. Okay, so. Still lots of scribbling. Talking amongst yourselves. So this Batman that I'm doing is kind of based on the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman from the movies, who, to my mind, was the best Batman movie incarnation. So we've had, Adam West, obviously. Does he count? Does he really? I don't know. And then you had a great big gap from 1966 through to 1989, where you had Mr. Michael Keaton and Tim Burton's classic. And then after that, you had he'd given up, so he was like, "Oh, I don't want to do any more of these." So Mr. Michael Keaton then said, "Oh, let's give it to Mr. Val Kilmer, Mr. Valerie Kilmer," which also, to my mind, wasn't that bad. It was the first Joel Schumacher incarnation, the first to feature Robin, so all pluses. But it still wasn't 100% great. Mr. Valerie Kilmer only did one tenure, and then he sidestepped to make way for Mr. George Clooney. For those that is in the know, that was perhaps a shit thing to do, seeing as Batman and Robin was arguably the worst Batman film ever and killed the whole franchise until Mr. Christian Bale came along in 2000 whatever 5 with Batman Begins, and that was like a proper things had changed. You know, we moved on from Mr. Tim Burton's glory of colours and, you know, fucking Danny Elfman soundtracks and all that sort of bullshit. Do we really need that? I don't know. And then after, we moved into the Schumacher phase, which gave us the delights of Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And you all know that also gave us the delights of Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Mr. Freeze, which on paper was a fucking brilliant idea. In reality, was it? Who are to judge? Oh look. So, yes, there was that. But if you remember, in the old days, bat symbol was not how we would know it now. Changed a lot over the years, especially so in Hollywood, because I would do it hang on a minute, that looks particularly shit. And from here you'd have the one up. I call it the one up and the two up. And the one down. So, okay. Could be better if I wasn't holding the phone with one hand, but never mind. Don't judge me. Right, bear in mind this is supposed to be like a kind of Michael Keaton version. It's not quite right there, I can't put my finger on it. So, right, we would normally have like lots of black shit going on here. So what I'm going to do is, I kind of feel like I want to add some pencils to this, just to make it more real. So the next sound you're going to hear is me placing the cap on my pen. Let's go face. Let's go face. Let's go face. Let's go face. Okay, so the thing about Michael Keaton is he's got kiss me lips. And that's not me saying like, you know, some weird sort of like perverted, I want to kiss Michael Keaton, but he does have kiss me lips. Oh, we've got to give ourselves a little chin. Can we have a little chin, please, sir? Yes, of course you can. How would you like? Just one, please. You've got one. Okay, so, and then let's have some eyes. Let's have some eyes. Normal. Now, this was a big thing. I don't know if you can remember this back in the old days, but Batman never used to have eyes. Yes, of course he had eyes. Otherwise, how could he throw his batarang? But he never actually had proper eyes. They were always white. So by giving him eyes, it humanized him a little bit. Oh, and whilst I'm here, I've got you. Everyone's like, oh, Batman's stupid. Look at him. He's got this big fucking symbol on his front by his heart. They know where to shoot him. And that's the whole fucking point. Is that his heart was a great big yellow and black symbol, and that was the most shielded part of his body. So by putting that out to the criminals of the world, saying, yeah, please shoot me here, they ain't gonna fucking kill him, are they? Because that's the most shielded part of his whole fucking body. Classic fucking psychology. Well done, Mr. Bruce Wayne. And normally, do you remember what I would say to you? Like, I punt this bitch with lots of black inks. Today I'm not doing this. I'm doing it completely back to front. And I'm punting it with pencils after I've punted it with inks. And you also remember, if you were in on the front row, this is supposed to look like Mr. Michael Keaton, in a way. In a way, I think it does. In a way, I think it does. I'm going to tell a little secret once I finish this, which might make you judge me more or less, depending on how you feel about me. Okay, so. Oh, another classic. You might love this. Pee Wee Herman, the classic Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, directed by Tim Burton. Pee Wee Herman was a fucking classic. I love that film. Pee Wee's Big Adventure was done by Tim Burton before he did Batman film. And it is, if you haven't seen it, you're missing out because it's such a classic. If you have seen it, you know that he got into a lot of trouble for masturbating in the cinema, which is not to be condoned during lockdown. But it was a porn film, so you know, there's a certain amount of, well, give him his dues. So anyway, yeah, he got in a lot of trouble for that because he was like a big star. He was like the Andy Peters of his day. Probably not the best analogy, but you know, never mind. He was a big star, but still, he was employed by Tim Burton to be the Penguin's dad. And in Batman Returns, you see the Penguin's parents dump him in a river and just let him take his chances. Not great. I mean, even in this day and age, I wouldn't condone dumping a child in a stream, but you know, it happened. And yeah, there you go. So kind of like a Tim Burton-esque, Michael Keaton-esque Batman, done back to front in aid of the lockdown mix. Here you go. Right, peace out. Love you all. Stay indoors. Do Mr. Boris says. Do not transmit disease. Love you. Bye.